Just a few decades ago, food shortages remained a harsh reality for hundreds of millions of people in China. Yet today, with only about 7% of the world's arable land, the country has achieved a remarkable feat, producing enough food to feed nearly 20% of the global population. So how did a nation once struggling with widespread famine build an agricultural powerhouse worth more than $1 trillion? Today, join Agriculture Insight as we journey across vast fields, expansive farms, and into the heart of one of the world's largest agricultural machines. Here, every harvest is far more than a simple act of planting and growing crops. It is the result of strategic planning, advanced technology, and decades of transformation in the way people cultivate and utilize the land. Known as the champagne of the tea world for its refined flavor and complex layers of aroma, Chinese oolong tea is not only a symbol of Eastern tea culture, but also generates more than $21 billion in value each year. To understand what has made it so renowned, we must travel to Fujian province, the region responsible for over 70% of the world's oolong tea production. Unlike many crops that can be harvested mechanically, most oolong tea is grown on mountain slopes ranging from 600 to more than 2,000 meters in elevation, where the steep terrain makes it difficult for machinery to operate. As a result, harvesting is still carried out primarily by hand. During the harvest season, workers begin their day before dawn, picking the leaves while they are still fully hydrated to preserve their best flavor. Each tea shoot is carefully plucked by hand at the precise junction between the stem and branch to avoid damaging the leaves. Unlike green tea, which is typically harvested according to the one bud, two young leaves standard, oolong tea is usually picked as one bud with 2 to 4 mature leaves, as this stage provides the rich and distinctive aroma for which oolong is known. After harvesting, the fresh leaves are quickly transported to processing facilities. They are first sun-withered for about 15 to 20 minutes to initiate oxidation, then spread on bamboo trays for 6 to 8 hours, where they are gently turned at regular intervals. Once the leaves reach the desired softness, they are lightly bruised along the edges in rotating drums to promote oxidation and develop their characteristic aroma. The leaves are then kneaded, pressed, and rolled multiple times to shape them before being dried to reduce moisture and stabilize their flavor. Finally, the tea is sorted, packaged, and prepared for market. As the fastest growing plant on Earth, capable of growing nearly 100 centimeters in a single day, bamboo has long become a multi-billion-dollar industry in China, with forests stretching across millions of hectares. Yet the greatest value of bamboo lies beneath the soil, where young bamboo shoots support an industry worth an $8 billion. To preserve that value, farmers must harvest the shoots at precisely the right time, before the young sprouts have a chance to develop into mature bamboo stalks. When harvesting bamboo shoots, farmers do not wait for the shoots to fully emerge from the ground. Instead, they locate them by looking for subtle signs such as cracks in the soil, raised layers of decaying leaves, or small mounds on the forest floor. Once a shoot is identified, a narrow hoe or specialized knife is used to carefully dig around the base and expose the underground stem. The most critical step is locating the exact point where the shoot connects to the rhizome and making a clean cut in a single motion. Cutting too deep can damage the underground root system, while an inaccurate cut or bruising the shoot can significantly reduce its quality and market value. After harvest, the shoots are quickly transported to processing facilities to preserve their freshness. There, they are washed to remove soil and debris, then blanched at around 90 degrees Celsius to maintain their color and crisp texture. The outer layers and tougher fibrous portions are removed, leaving only the tender core. The The shoots are then sorted and processed into a variety of products, the most popular being Chinese-style pickled bamboo shoots, known for their mild tanginess, rich aftertaste, distinctive crunch, and long shelf life. Leaving behind the vast bamboo forests, we now travel to Hubei, where lotus plants are cultivated not for their beauty, but for their crisp, white lotus roots, an essential ingredient in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Hidden beneath the mud lies the plant's enlarged rhizome, where large amounts of starch and nutrients are stored. From around September to December, as the leaves and stems above the water begin to wither, the lotus root harvest season officially begins. However, harvesting lotus roots is far from simple. Rather than growing individually, they develop as long chains of interconnected segments buried deep within soft mud, making them particularly challenging to harvest without damage. To harvest them, farmers must first determine the direction in which the rhizome has grown. High-pressure water jets are then used to wash away the surrounding mud without breaking the roots. Once the first segments become visible, workers carefully follow the entire length of the rhizome, cleaning it while gently lifting it out of the water. After being brought ashore, the lotus roots are collected and transported to processing facilities. There, they pass through multi-stage washing systems to remove all traces of mud before being sorted, trimmed, inspected for quality, and packaged. From there, these crisp and naturally sweet lotus roots are distributed across China, where they have become a staple ingredient in countless traditional dishes. Once a species known for thriving in murky, low-oxygen waters, catfish has become an important aquaculture species in China. Channel catfish alone accounts for an annual production of approximately 250,000 tons. At industrial fish farms, catfish are raised in high-density ponds and are continuously supplied with protein-rich feed to promote rapid growth. At the same time, oxygen levels and water quality are carefully monitored and controlled to maintain a stable environment for the fish. After about 5 to 6 months, when the fish reach market size, the harvest begins. The ponds are enclosed with nets to concentrate the fish in a designated area, allowing them to be collected quickly and efficiently. From there, the fish are transferred into oxygen-rich tank trucks for transport to processing facilities. In addition to traditional pond farming, China has also developed integrated poultry aquaculture systems. In this model, chicken or duck houses are built above the ponds, while poultry waste is utilized as a nutrient source for the ecosystem below, helping to reduce production costs. After harvesting, the catfish are quickly moved into processing lines, where they are cleaned, filleted, and packaged through a continuous operation to ensure maximum freshness before being distributed to the market. Once a humble food enjoyed by fishing communities along the southern coast of China, blood cockles have grown into an industry worth approximately $1 billion, thriving across the country's coastal regions. To meet growing demand, blood cockles are harvested using two main methods. In traditional tidal flats, farmers release juvenile cockles directly into coastal mudflats. When the tide recedes and the seabed is exposed, workers use hand rakes, small shovels, or simply their hands to locate and collect the cockles buried beneath the mud. Meanwhile, in large-scale farming areas of Guangdong and Guangxi, harvesting has been mechanized using specialized vessels. As these boats move through the farming grounds, dredging nets are dragged along the seabed, collecting both the cockles and the upper layer of mud onto the deck, significantly increasing harvesting efficiency. After being transported to processing facilities, the blood cockles are thoroughly washed and steamed at around 100 degrees to open their shells. The meat is then removed and cleaned further before being either flash frozen or packaged for distribution. Thanks to their rich sweetness and distinctive chewy texture, blood cockles have long been a popular delicacy in China, commonly served at family gatherings, banquets, and festive celebrations. While in the United States, black swans are often seen as symbols of luxury, gracing the private lakes of the wealthy, in China they have become part of a unique economic model that ranges from breeding and ornamental bird sales to ecotourism, with high-quality individuals valued at up to $1,000 each. Behind their elegant appearance lies a fascinating reproductive life. During the breeding season, pairs of swans swim side by side, stretching their necks and flapping their wings in elaborate courtship displays before mating on the water. After laying between 4 and 8 eggs, both the male and female take turns incubating them for more than a month. When the cygnets hatch, they do not share their parents' black plumage, but instead have light gray feathers that provide better camouflage in the wild. On modern farms, black swans are raised in environments that combine ponds with sheltered resting areas. During the day, they swim, forage, and remain active, while receiving a carefully balanced diet to maintain their health and feather quality. After about 10 to 12 months, most are retained as ornamental birds for parks and ecological attractions, while a small number are used for other commercial purposes. Hidden within the dense forests of China, black wild boars were once truly wild animals that survived purely on instinct. Today, however, they have become an important part of a livestock and culinary industry worth more than $3 billion, appearing everywhere from large-scale farms to high-end dining tables. Few people realize that most black wild boars on the market are no longer genetically pure wild animals. They are the result of generations of crossbreeding between wild boars and domestic pigs, creating a breed that combines the hardiness and adaptability of the wild with the productivity required for modern farming. This crossbreeding has given rise to a unique farming model in which agriculture and nature are closely intertwined. During their first months of life, the piglets are raised on carefully managed nutritional programs. Once they are strong enough, they are released onto hillsides and into forested areas, rather than being confined like conventional industrial pigs. Although supplemental feed is still provided to maintain growth rates, a significant portion of their diet comes from natural food sources, such as grasses, roots, fruits, and wild vegetation. After about 18 months, when they reach market size, the pigs are gathered and transported to processing facilities. Thanks to their active lifestyle throughout the growing period, black wild boar pork is typically darker in color and firmer in texture than conventionally raised pork. As a result, it is often featured in whole roasted pig dishes served at festivals, weddings, and important family gatherings across many regions of China. Located in northern China, Inner Mongolia is famous for its vast grasslands, harsh winters, and dry climate. Yet it is also home to a unique livestock industry, featuring large-scale farming operations and many distinctive animal species rarely seen in conventional agricultural regions. One notable example is the ostrich. In this region, Bayan-er alone is home to more than 7,000 African ostriches raised under semi-free-range farming systems on large, dry, open lands, accounting for nearly 25% of China's total ostrich population. While many conventional poultry species struggle to adapt to Inner Mongolia's dry, cold environment and wide temperature fluctuations, these giant birds thrive in dry, well-ventilated conditions with plenty of space to move around. As a result, they have become a high-value specialty livestock species, generating millions of dollars in revenue from meat, eggs, feathers, and especially ostrich leather used in premium leather products. The breeding season for ostriches in Inner Mongolia usually begins in spring and lasts until the end of summer, when temperatures range from 20 to 35 degrees Celsius. On farms, one male is usually paired with 2 to 4 females to optimize the fertilization rate. When the breeding season begins, the male starts performing its distinctive courtship dance, spreading its wings, which can span nearly 2 meters, shaking its head, and turning its body repeatedly to attract a mate. Female ostriches usually reach reproductive maturity at 2 to 3 years of age, while males need around 3 to 4 years. With proper care, a female can maintain stable egg-laying ability for more than 20 years. After successful mating, egg formation begins. This is the stage that determines the productivity of the entire farm, as each healthy female can produce dozens of eggs in a single breeding season. Throughout the breeding season, each female ostrich can lay an average of around 60 eggs per year, while some highly productive individuals may exceed 80 eggs. Ostrich eggs are the largest bird eggs on the planet, weighing more than 20 times as much as a chicken egg, with a very hard and thick shell. They usually lay in the afternoon or early evening in shallow sand nests. Farmers collect the eggs within a few hours after laying to reduce the risk of cracking, contamination, or trampling. However, many female ostriches do not lay properly in the nest, but drop their eggs directly onto the farming ground while moving. Therefore, during the peak breeding season, workers must constantly monitor the females, using their hands or specialized catching tools to support the eggs as soon as they fall. This significantly reduces egg losses, as each ostrich egg is valuable not only for hatching, but also as a high-priced commercial product. Unlike in the wild, where ostrich parents take turns incubating the eggs for about 42 days, modern farms use automatic incubators to improve the hatching rate. After inspection, the eggs are placed in specialized trays with the large end facing upward. Inside the incubation chamber, the temperature is maintained at around 36 degrees Celsius, with humidity kept at a maximum of 35%. The automatic system turns the eggs several times a day to prevent the embryo from sticking to the shell. After about 39 days, the eggs are transferred to a hatcher with higher humidity to help the chicks break through the shell. Because ostrich eggs have an unusually thick and hard shell, the hatching process can last up to 48 hours. Healthy ostrich chicks are then moved to the brooding area, where they begin the most important growth stage of their lives. When newly hatched, ostrich chicks are about 25 centimeters tall and weigh between 800 grams and 1 kilograms. This is the stage with the highest mortality risk, so care must be carried out very strictly. During the first few weeks, the brooding house temperature is maintained at 30 to 32 degrees Celsius and gradually reduced as the chicks grow older. The floor must always be kept dry to limit leg problems and digestive diseases. Their initial feed consists of young grass, finely chopped greens, and high-protein compound feed with a protein content of 20 to 22%. After just 3 months, young ostriches can reach a weight of 25 to 40 kilograms. By 6 months of age, many individuals weigh over 60 kilograms and begin transitioning to commercial farming. From this point onward, the farm's goal is no longer simply keeping them alive, but optimizing growth rate and product quality. An adult ostrich can eat about 3 kilograms of feed per day, mainly consisting of alfalfa, hay, corn, barley, soybeans, along with added minerals and vitamins. Under optimal farming conditions, ostriches can reach a weight of 100 to 150 kilograms after 12 to 14 months. Once they reach commercial size, they become a source of low-fat red meat, premium leather, decorative feathers, and commercial eggs, bringing significant economic value to farms in Inner Mongolia and many other regions of China. At some tourist farms in China, ostrich riding has become a curiosity-driven attraction for visitors, costing around 5 to 10 USDs for a short ride. However, it is not necessarily a comfortable experience for first-time riders, as an ostrich can stand over 2 meters tall, weigh more than 100 kilograms, and run extremely fast when startled. Ostrich meat is also one of the unusual delicacies that visitors to Inner Mongolia may encounter in local restaurants. On the market, ostrich meat is typically sold for around 10 to 20 USD per kilogram, making it more expensive than many conventional poultry products due to its low fat content, beef-like red color, and distinctive flavor. But the most valuable product from this bird is undoubtedly its leather. Ostriches generally need to be raised for 12 to 18 months and reach a body weight of about 90 to 120 kilograms before they are suitable for leather harvesting. Ostrich leather is highly prized for its natural feather follicle pattern, soft texture, durability, lightweight, and the difficulty of imitating it. As a result, it is sought after by luxury fashion houses such as Hermès, Prada, and Louis Vuitton. A handbag made from ostrich leather can cost anywhere from several thousand to more than 10,000 USD, making it as expensive as a motorcycle or even a used car in many countries. Closely tied to more than 3,000 years of Chinese history, horses were not only a means of transportation, but also the foundation of the military power of northern dynasties and the nomadic empires of the Eurasian steppes. In particular, Inner Mongolia is regarded as one of the world's most famous birthplaces of horse riding culture. Today, this autonomous region is home to around 1 million horses, far more than most other provinces in China. Across grasslands that stretch to the horizon, herds of horses can roam freely for dozens of kilometers each day in search of grass and water. Mongolian horses are renowned for their remarkable endurance. Although they stand only about 1.3 to 1.4 meters at the shoulder, they can carry riders for many hours across rugged terrain and withstand temperatures ranging from -40 to more than 35 degrees Celsius. After thousands of years of natural selection on the harsh steppes, they have become a symbol deeply connected to the lives and culture of the Mongolian people. One unique aspect of many grassland regions in Inner Mongolia is that local herders still maintain the tradition of taming semi-wild horse herds that roam freely throughout the year. Each year, in late spring and early summer, horsemen gather the herds, select young and healthy individuals, and bring them in for training. Compared with horses raised in stables, those that grow up on the open steppes typically have greater endurance and faster reflexes, but they are also much harder to control. An adult horse can weigh between 300 and 400 kilograms, and its kick is powerful enough to cause serious injury if a trainer loses concentration. For this reason, the work is usually carried out only by highly experienced horse handlers. After several weeks of becoming accustomed to bridles, saddles, and riders, successfully trained horses become valuable breeding stock and working animals on the grasslands. Mongolian horses can breed throughout the year, but the peak mating season usually occurs from late spring to midsummer, when food is most abundant on the grasslands. A mature stallion can manage a herd of 10 to 20 mares during the breeding season. At this time, stallions often become more aggressive, constantly patrolling their territory, driving away rivals, and protecting their mares. After successful mating, a mare carries her foal for about 11 months before giving birth. Most births occur naturally and require little human intervention. A newborn foal typically weighs between 25 and 40 kilograms and can stand within just 1 to 2 hours after birth. Only a few days later, it is already able to run alongside the herd across the vast grasslands. For the Mongolian people, horses are not only livestock but also part of their cultural identity. Every year, many traditional festivals are held across the grasslands, the most famous of which are long-distance horse races stretching from 10 to more than 30 kilometers. Unlike modern racetracks, the courses here have almost no barriers, only endless grasslands where hundreds of riders compete together. In addition to horse racing, there are also traditional wrestling and equestrian competitions that showcase riding and control skills. These festivals not only attract tourists, but also help preserve the horse herding tradition that has existed for centuries. Although horses are one of the most important cultural symbols of the grasslands, they are also an important source of food, especially milk. Mares produce only a small amount of milk, averaging 2 to 5 liters per day, far less than dairy cows. For this reason, herders often have to milk them several times a day, sometimes 5 to 7 times. One milking technique used by local herders is to let the foal suckle first for about 30 to 60 seconds. Once the udder is stimulated and the milk begins to flow steadily, they gently separate the foal and milk the remaining portion. The process is almost entirely done by hand, with no machinery involved. This is partly because mares are more sensitive than dairy cows and can become stressed if restrained for too long or exposed to unfamiliar equipment. Farmers must stand close to the mare's side, keep a steady hand rhythm, and work quickly but gently to avoid frightening the animal. The mare's milk is then used to produce irrigation, or kumis, the famous traditional fermented milk of nomadic people. This drink has a mildly sour taste, contains a small amount of natural alcohol, and has been closely tied to grassland life for hundreds of years. Beyond milk, horse meat is also a long-standing delicacy in many grassland regions of northern China. Here, whenever major festivals, weddings, or community gatherings take place, villagers often slaughter a horse together to serve their guests. Because the horses are naturally grazed across vast grasslands, their meat has a firm texture, low fat content, and rich flavor. It has long been an important part of Mongolian food culture. Xinjiang, the largest region in China, is famous for its vast deserts, dry grasslands, and the legendary Silk Road. It is also home to many unique livestock breeds rarely seen elsewhere, one of the most notable being the Xinjiang fat-tailed sheep. Beyond the economic value they bring to this dry land, what makes them famous is their highly unusual appearance. While ordinary sheep store fat under the skin or between muscle fibers, fat-tailed sheep store much of their energy in the massive tail behind them. In mature individuals, this tail can weigh from 10 to more than 20 kilograms, looking like a mobile food reserve that helps them survive when food is scarce. Thanks to their strong tolerance for drought and cold, fat-tailed sheep can be grazed almost year-round across vast grasslands. Each day, herders ride horses or motorbikes to drive the flocks several kilometers in search of fresh pasture. At fixed intervals, they are also driven through disinfectant dipping pools to clean their wool, remove parasites, and reduce skin diseases before returning to the grasslands. In summer, they make use of natural grass to gain weight quickly. In winter, the fat stored in their tails becomes an energy source that helps them endure harsh weather. The ideal time for sale is usually when the sheep reach 8 to 12 months of age and weigh around 45 to 60 kilograms. They are then sent to traditional livestock markets, slaughterhouses, restaurants, and food markets. For local people, fat-tailed sheep meat is a prized ingredient, especially the rich aromatic tail fat, which is commonly used in grilled kebabs, pilaf, and many traditional Uyghur dishes. At the first stop of our journey, we step into the Sichuan pepper capital of Sichuan province, a region that produces nearly 40% of China's Sichuan pepper output and generates billions of dollars in revenue every year. What many people don't know is that Sichuan pepper is not actually pepper at all, but a member of the citrus family, and it is the outer husk that creates its signature numbing sensation. This spice is best known in two major varieties: green Sichuan pepper, famous for its intense tingling effect, and red Sichuan pepper, which delivers a richer aroma, deeper flavor, and stronger heat. Behind this tiny spice lies an incredibly labor-intensive harvest process. farmers must carefully reach through sharp, thorn-covered branches to cut each cluster by hand, before meticulously separating the thin outer husk, the very part that gives Sichuan cuisine its iconic soul. After harvesting, the Sichuan pepper husks are dried to become the soul of Sichuan hot pot. To create the famous spicy and numbing broth, massive blocks of beef tallow are first melted down before dozens of chili varieties, spices, and Sichuan pepper are added, releasing an intense aroma that can fill an entire kitchen within minutes. What makes this spice truly unique is not its heat, but the way it interacts directly with the nervous system. Instead of simply burning the tongue like ordinary chili peppers, Sichuan pepper creates a tingling, numbing sensation, as if tiny electric currents are running through the entire mouth. Once banned in the United States for nearly 40 years over fears that citrus canker bacteria could devastate agriculture, this spice, once considered a biological threat, is now experiencing a massive boom in restaurants across America. Few people realize that out of every 2 ginger roots consumed in the world, 1 comes from China. The country has at times accounted for more than 40 to 50% of global ginger production, and Shandong province alone is capable of supplying dozens of countries at the same time. Around August each year, China's vast ginger fields begin entering harvest season. To harvest ginger, farmers must use hoes to break apart the hardened soil and pull out massive clusters of ginger by hand, before quickly cutting away the stalks and leaves directly in the fields. Ordinary ginger is usually only palm-sized, but in China, some roots grow larger than construction bricks and nearly as long as an adult's forearm. In Shandong, there are even Ginger King competitions, where the largest ginger roots can sell for thousands of dollars. After harvesting, tens of tons of ginger are packed into massive cardboard boxes and loaded onto trucks before being transported directly to processing factories. There, the ginger is first washed and peeled to remove its outer skin, then cleaned again using high-pressure water systems before entering multiple production lines. Some roots are sliced thinly to make ginger candy for soothing coughs, while others are crushed and pressed into thick, intensely spicy syrup. With its warm aroma, mild pungency, and deep-spreading heat, ginger has long become one of the world's most famous spices for warming the body, fighting off cold conditions, and stimulating blood circulation. The world consumes so much Chinese garlic that around 7 out of every 10 kitchens on the planet are believed to be using garlic grown in the massive fields of Shandong and Henan. To the rest of the world, garlic may simply be a common seasoning, but in China, it has become a white gold mine worth more than $20 billion every year. During harvest season, entire fields transform into enormous manual production lines as thousands of workers continuously bend close to the ground, grip the stalks tightly, and pull each garlic bulb from the hardened soil. After being harvested, the garlic is lightly shaken clean and laid out in long rows under the sun to dry. It is then trimmed, with roots and leaves removed, sorted by size, packed into massive sacks, and loaded onto trucks bound for processing factories. Here, the garlic is continuously shaken to remove dirt, dried roots, and its thin outer skin. Powerful streams of air blow away the lightweight peel, while the cleaner garlic cloves continue through screening systems that remove damaged bulbs and impurities before workers carry out a final inspection. From there, the highest quality garlic is either dried or packaged as whole cloves for export. The remaining portion moves directly into the production line for China's famous sweet and sour pickled garlic. Along the conveyor system, a brine made from rice vinegar, sugar, and salt is pre-filled into glass jars before glossy white garlic cloves are dropped in continuously until each jar is packed full. The jars are then heat sterilized, sealed tightly, and transferred into fermentation rooms, where the garlic gradually turns golden, crispier, and richer in flavor over time. Leaving behind the garlic fields of Yunnan, the journey continues toward Henan, a region often called the Kingdom of Green Onions. Every year, this area produces more than 12 million tons of onions and scallions, accounting for nearly 40% of global output and helping China dominate the world's green onion market. This enormous scale has completely transformed the way onions are harvested in China. In large-scale farming regions, massive machines imported from the United States can move directly between the rows, using cutting blades and conveyor systems to lift entire lines of onions from the soil within seconds, before they lose moisture under the scorching heat. Because if left under the sun for too long, this surprisingly delicate vegetable can wilt faster than ice cream melting in summer. Right in the fields, the roots are quickly trimmed away to make the onions cleaner, lighter, and less likely to wilt during transportation. The onions are then sent directly to processing facilities, where thousands of high-pressure water jets blast away layers of dirt within seconds to preserve their natural green color and crisp texture. Along the conveyor lines, workers continuously remove wilted leaves and sort the onions by size before bundling them neatly together. Finally, the onions are dried using cold air systems and immediately transferred into refrigerated storage, ready for overnight container shipments traveling across Asia. As one of the very few vegetables in the world that can completely divide opinions, cilantro is loved by some for its distinctive aroma, while others passionately hate it because it reminds them of soap or even stink bugs. Yet despite all the controversy, millions of bundles of cilantro are still harvested every day from the seemingly endless green fields of Shandong. In China, cilantro is generally harvested in two ways: hand-harvested for the premium fresh vegetable market, or mechanically harvested on a massive scale to supply the seasoning and processed food industries. With manual harvesting, farmers must use small sickles to cut cilantro close to the roots in carefully gathered handfuls, because the stems are extremely delicate and the thin leaves can bruise or collapse after just a few strong squeezes. If handled too roughly, the aldehyde compounds inside are released intensely, causing the signature aroma to become overpoweringly sharp almost instantly. After harvesting, the bundles that retain the freshest green color and most stable aroma are quickly transported to processing facilities, where they are washed, trimmed, and packaged within just a few hours of leaving the fields. Meanwhile, in large-scale production fields, cilantro is harvested using specialized machines equipped with thin, high-speed rotating blades, fast enough to cut close to the roots while minimizing damage to the delicate leaves above. The harvested cilantro is then transferred directly onto conveyor systems for washing, dried with hot air, and ground into a fine green powder that releases a sharp, fragrant aroma almost instantly when opened. Today, this flavor has become a familiar seasoning base in many food products, exported to Europe, the United States, and the Middle East. Ranking among the world's most astonishing spicy food cultures, chili peppers in China have not only built an industry worth more than $100 billion annually, but have also become deeply woven into everyday life, appearing in meals, street markets, and countless pots of fiery red-hot pot, serving as the flame of flavor for billions of people. When harvest season begins, farmers do not pull chili peppers off the plants in bulk. Instead, they carefully select only evenly ripened red peppers with tight skin and no cracks. Holding the stem gently, They twist each pepper at a slight angle before separating it from the branch, helping preserve the pepper's shape, prevent skin damage, and maintain its vibrant color before drying or processing. After leaving the fields, the chili peppers are not sent directly into grinding machines. Instead, they are first spread out in thin layers under the sun, so moisture can slowly evaporate. Once the skin turns a deeper shade of red and the spicy aroma becomes more concentrated, the peppers are gathered, loaded up, and transported straight to processing factories. At the factories, the chilies are poured into massive feeding hoppers and pass through vibrating screens and powerful air systems to remove dust, stems, sand, and remaining impurities before the entire batch enters sealed grinding systems. Inside the grinding chambers, the skin, seeds, and flesh of the peppers are rapidly broken down by high-speed rollers, while temperatures are carefully controlled to prevent color loss and the evaporation of spicy essential oils. Within just minutes, tons of red chilies are transformed into fine, evenly textured powder with an intense aroma. Beyond chili powder, China also produces massive amounts of chili oil by combining coarsely ground dried chilies with hot oil and various spices, creating the signature foundation of Chongqing hot pot, spicy Sichuan noodles, and countless Chinese dishes. At the final stop of our journey, we arrive at the sesame fields of Henan, the birthplace of the famous sesame oil industry that generates more than $12 billion for China each year. Across China's vast sesame fields, harvesting is now carried out using specialized combine harvesters capable of cutting the stalks, shaking loose the seeds, and collecting them directly into storage tanks in a single pass. This is especially critical because once sesame reaches full maturity, a strong gust of wind or an unexpected rainstorm can cause millions of dry seeds to fall to the ground within just hours. After harvesting, the sesame seeds are poured into massive washing tanks to remove dirt, dust, and remaining sand, before being quickly transferred into high-capacity hot air drying systems to eliminate all moisture prior to oil extraction. Once the seeds reach the ideal dryness level, the entire batch is roasted at temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Celsius, the crucial step that creates sesame oil's signature rich and nutty aroma. Finally, the roasted sesame seeds are fed into enormous hot press extraction systems, where streams of dark sesame oil begin flowing continuously like liquid gold before passing through multiple filtration layers that remove husk residue, sesame particles, and tiny remaining impurities. Following filtration, the oil is cooled to stabilize its color and preserve its distinctive roasted aroma before flowing automatically into high-speed bottling lines. There, thousands of glass and plastic bottles are continuously filled, sealed, labeled, and packed into cartons within minutes before leaving the factory to begin their journey into millions of kitchens across Asia and around the world. And now, let's journey to the agricultural paradise of the United States, California, where endless fields of bell peppers stretch under the sun, glowing in shades of red, yellow, and green. In front of you is the Oxbow Pepper Harvester, a massive machine designed specifically for harvesting bell peppers, a crop that bruises easily. What makes it special is that it doesn't yank the peppers off the plant like manual labor does. Instead, it uses a system of precisely tuned shakers combined with soft rubber conveyors. This allows the peppers to detach cleanly from the stems while keeping their glossy, plump shape almost entirely scratch-free. This machine can harvest up to 25 to 30 tons of peppers per day, dozens of times more than human labor. It even features an integrated airflow system on the conveyor belt to blow away dry leaves and soil, meaning that by the time the peppers fall into the storage bin, they're already nearly clean. Every year, California alone cultivates more than 20,000 hectares of bell peppers, and it is thanks to harvesters like the Oxbow that this region has become the capital of pepper production, supplying not only the United States, but also export markets around the world. Let's move to the cherry orchards of Washington State, which produces more than 60% of America's sweet cherries, where the mighty cherry shaker harvester, weighing nearly 7 tons, takes center stage. Believe it or not, these machines can generate vibrations comparable to a small earthquake. Yet, they're finely tuned to shake loose only the ripe fruit while leaving the tree unharmed. Only plump, mature cherries fall, while branches and leaves stay intact. Beneath the tree, a massive catch frame unfolds like an inverted umbrella, gathering the falling fruit and feeding them onto conveyor belts. This is how technology transforms what was once painstaking, delicate labor into a display of sheer power and efficiency. What's even more fascinating is that the cherry harvest season lasts just 4 to 6 weeks each year. That means these machines must run almost non-stop, day and night, to ensure this fragile fruit reaches the market at peak freshness. On peat fields, the ground is constantly wet and spongy, and just a single heavy rain can turn it into a flooded swamp. In such conditions, plant roots are starved of oxygen, crops become stunted, and entire fields can wither if water control isn't secured. That's why drainage systems are not just an aid, but an absolute prerequisite for agriculture to survive here. Enter the Mary Peat OJK 1.3, often called the pathfinder of peat farming. With the ability to dig and process tens of kilometers of ditches per day, this machine transforms seemingly useless wetlands into fertile farmland, replacing the work of hundreds of manual laborers. Its secret lies in a massive high-speed screw rotor. As it drills deep into the peat, it simultaneously flings soil and mud to both sides, carving out ditches that are perfectly straight and nearly 2 meters deep. And it does all this in just minutes. A level of efficiency no traditional method could ever hope to match. On the vast livestock farms of the United States and Europe, you'll often see manure spreaders tirelessly at work. Their design may look simple, but the efficiency is remarkable. Inside the storage tank, augers and paddles keep rotating, pushing organic manure toward the rear. There, high-speed spinning discs fling the manure outward, spreading it evenly across the field in a fine layer. What makes these machines fascinating is not just the labor they save, but the way they turn animal waste, often difficult to manage, into a valuable resource. The organic matter is rich in potassium, nitrogen, and trace minerals, enriching the soil, improving moisture retention, and supporting healthier, more resilient crops. In this way, the manure spreader becomes a true bridge between livestock and crop farming, an essential link in the cycle of modern sustainable agriculture. The lettuce transplanter is transforming the way vegetables are grown like never before. Its automated conveyor system feeds trays of seedlings forward, while mechanical clamps work in perfect rhythm, placing each plant into the soil with pinpoint accuracy and evenly spaced rows. A modern machine can transplant up to 15,000 plants per hour, with an average spacing of 25 to 30 centimeters between each plant, all while workers simply sit and load trays instead of bending down to plant by hand. What's even more impressive is that the machine allows adjustments in both depth and density depending on the variety of lettuce, from tightly headed iceberg to leafy romaine. Thanks to this precision, crops grow more uniformly, land use is optimized, and irrigation waste is reduced by as much as 30% compared to traditional planting methods. If the mulch layer is the close guardian of a plant's roots and soil, then once the young green leaves rise above the ground, the task of protection is reinforced by tunnel-type net houses. Today, many manufacturers offer this model, but the most renowned on the market is Andros, with prices ranging from a few thousand to tens of thousands of USD per system. When installed, a series of curved steel arches form a tunnel covered with netting or transparent plastic film. This structure shields crops from hail, strong winds, insects, and UV rays, while maintaining an ideal microclimate that allows plants to grow vigorously, achieve stable yields, and produce uniform quality.